Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Mario Chaos and Kid Show. I'm your co-host, Mario Mancini. I'm a former WWE wrestler and co-instructor at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. We're here taping this show.
Well, I'm on a whiskey diet. I lost 3 days already, Mancini. What an opening to the show of Mario Chaos and the Kid. Let me say this. I am the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. Here representing Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler and co-trainer at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, along with head trainer Pretty Paul Roma, Paul Perez, Big Steve Tracy, and Sergeant Ralph Murray. How was that, Mancini?
Well, Big Daddy, it's not like I do it, but...
Well, it's definitely not like how you do it, but what happened there, Mancini?
I just got a little stuck there, Big Daddy. I'm kind of exhausted, but I got stuck from saying co-instructor at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling along with Pretty Paul Roma, Big Steve Tracy, Paul Perez, who is behind the glass and directing this show, and Sergeant Ralph Murray. Now, Big Daddy, seated to the right of me is the 2019 inductee to the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and a man that has 34 years and is considered an authority in this crazy world we call professional wrestling. That would be yourself, the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy.
Raindrops keep falling
on my head,
but
that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free, nothing's worrying me.
Good evening, folks. I am the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. Coming to you live from the Diadamo and Tracy Bail Bonds studio here at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. Where, fans, go fuck yourself to all the 18 to 30 demographic people out there who said, I'm loud, I'm this, who is this guy? He's screaming, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Who is he? Well, guess what? You can't Google me, you can't YouTube me. I don't really give a shit, but guess what? I am the most well-known, unknown, has-been, never was, wannabe. And it got back to me, and I'm going to throw you under the bus, kid, and then I'm going to back up over you. Because it got back to me, and that's why I started it off like that, that a certain people or fans or demographics or this, I don't know, why me generation, I don't know what to call it, Mancini, they have a problem, apparently, and I challenge all of you to come down to the Paradise Alley Wrestling Facility at 662 Co Avenue in East Haven and say it to me. Now, I may not be able to do anything about it, but I will get somebody else to do something about it, okay? Mario Mancini whipped my ass from pillar to post. Ask the students, I'll get this down here, and then we'll see what you have to say. So, kid, you should have never told me that. But anyway, I digress. We are here on Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast, second episode. Fans, I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to try to tone it down for you folks. Behind the glass, second generation grappler, Paul Perez, my good friend, and seated to the left of me is the only man I know who can hide his own Easter eggs, and that's the kid, Matt D. What's going on, Matt? What's going on, kid?
What's going on, Big Daddy? Glad to be here again for a second episode with you guys. I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
Well, we have a lot of wrestling to talk about. What I want to ask you a personal question.
What's going on?
Give me the feedback on Mario Chaos and the Kid to where I had to start off here. I'm a little heated, kid. I'm not quite sure what's going on out there in the social media world. You are our contact. Hey, listen, you're no Mark Adam Haggerty. That's for damn sure. But hey, you like that? Mark Adam Haggerty is gold. So what's the feedback, kid? Because I don't like what I'm hearing.
Some people were saying you were loud. I mean,
how could somebody, the guardian of chaos,
I don't know where they got that one from.
Loud?
Yeah.
Mancini, now you've known me for 34 years. We go back like a recliner. We go back like 8 tracks.
This is true.
Am I loud?
No. You're a little rambunctious.
Well, rambunctious, okay, but loud. 25 years behind the walls. Okay? That's all I have to say. But anyway.
There's nothing wrong with being loud. You just got to get your point across.
Oh, coming from the kid. Hey, have you seen the kids? Fans, for those of you out there, listen, we have a face for radio. We know this already. Mario Chaos and the kid. Mancini has a world championship Yankees jacket on. The kid is wearing an L.A. Chargers warm-up suit, and he just went out and got the lightning bolt from the L.A. Chargers tattooed on his right upper shoulder. Kid, first off, who did that? It looks damn impressive. I want to know who put that ink on your body.
My friend Dave Sevilla from Black Hatchet Tattoo in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Would that be Dave from Black Hatchet Tattoo in Wallingford, Connecticut?
It is.
Wow, talk about your cheap plug a la Mick Foley. I noticed you got some other stuff over here, too. Mancini, the New York skyline, it looks like maybe Aaron Judge or Gary Sanchez or somebody is hitting a ball over the skyline.
Did you say the Dirty Sanchez?
That's the Statue of Liberty.
Are you familiar, Mancini, with the Dirty Sanchez, a.k.a. the Greasy Sam? Listen, kid, I don't know what you're laughing at, kid, because you have no idea what we're talking about. Hey, listen, I have plenty of halls here tonight. You can see, folks, that it's a happy Thanksgiving. We are in the holiday festive spirit here. We're all laughing besides ourselves here. It doesn't get any better at Mario Chaos and the Kid. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Thank you for coming back. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Fans, we're going to run over Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling from this past weekend. Type 1 to none. Body slamming diabetes. Also, we're going to be talking about on the second part of this broadcast, however long this lasts, we don't know. We may be here till 4 o'clock in the morning. We may get in the ring. Fans, you can't see it, but right behind me is a professional wrestling ring, a Titantron, Old Glory, all kinds of memorabilia. Also, the Pro Wrestling School Paradise Alley Wrestling banner. And we all know, as Mancini said, that Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling has something that no other independent professional wrestling company has in this country. And that's 4 former WWE, WWF, WCW wrestlers that worked for Vince McMahon also. And that's Mario Mancini, Paul Perez, Big Steve Tracy, and Pretty Paul Roma. And folks, I say it all the time. I say it ad nauseum. I'm going to keep saying it. Listen, Mancini's been in the ring with a who's who in professional wrestling. Paul Perez has been in the ring with multi-talented superstars. Paul Roma, Pretty Wonderful, Young Stallions, 4 Horsemen, Power and Glory, and Big Steve Tracy bail bonds. Say no more. That's what Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling brings. Come down to the wrestling school. Anyone who's interested, check out the website, ParadiseAlleyProWrestling.com. Go to YouTube. Go to Go Pro Wrestling. You'll see all the work. Fans, 662 Co Avenue in East Haven. Now I'm officially done. I'm officially done with all the plugs here, Mancini. So, Mancini, tell me, now that we are approaching Thanksgiving in a couple days, we're off a huge weekend of Paradise Alley. We're for Team CC, Body Slamming Diabetes. We raise thousands of dollars. Tell me what's going on in the Mancini life as far as Thanksgiving and your thoughts on Body Slamming Diabetes and Team CC.
Well, I have to tell you something, Big Daddy. That was the best at being the business end of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. That was the best client I ever worked with. And we worked with a lot, and I'm not downing the other clients. It's just CJ just put in a lot of work, a lot of effort. It was because of him that the show was such a success. He really pushed the tickets. It was a tremendous crowd. It was a very profitable night for juvenile diabetes, and it was just a win-win for everybody. I mean, I could ask for more. It was a fun night. And I'm glad we did it, and I offered them a steady spot once a year on the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling charitable event. roster, which, as everybody knows who's involved with the company, that 99.9% of the shows that we put on is for a charity or an organization that's in need of raising money, from animal shelters to the ASRC for autism to Mission 22 to the Raging Firefighters, raising money for
great
children.
guys, the Raging Firefighters.
Children that get burned in fires. I mean, Paradise Alley, and Perez will tell you, who's right here, that we feel so fortunate that we were able to spend the time we spent in the biggest wrestling organization in the world. And, guys in our position were able to stay there and last there, where other guys in our position would get one shot and you'd never see him again. There's some poor son of a bitch out there that's looking at their kid on YouTube, showing their kid on YouTube the only match they ever had with the WWE, and Perez and I and Roma, and even Big Steve spent a couple of years. He spent a couple of years. I spent 8 years. Roma spent 9. I think Perez spent like 4. Or something like that, too.
That's a lot of experience there, folks. And that's what I say, Mario. I'm not cutting you off. But that's what Paradise Alley offers, is your 4 experience, what I call the 4 horsemen of Paradise Alley. And that's not stealing a moniker. But continue on, Mancini.
So, we feel good about giving back from the business. The true professionals in this business know it's about giving back. There are a lot of times, even with our own students, it's hard for Perez, Roma, myself, you, Big Daddy, to kind of grasp this newfangled kind of era of wrestling. Hence, the reason why the kid is sitting in between us.
Well, like I said, listen, Mario, like I said last week on your first broadcast here, folks, we tape every Tuesday night. Monday night is the training sessions down here, but I said that last week. Seated to the left of me, fans, is a blue chipper. Okay, a 5'2" athlete. We've already said that. We said it on the first episode. I'm going to say it again. Trying to intern right now and involved in the business with interning. Not only is he going to school for criminal justice. Matt, don't turn red. Kid, I don't want to embarrass you here, but I want ESPN, WWE, WTNH, internships. Hey, listen, this kid's on the rise. And like we said last week, Mancini, that's why he's here. We are old school ideas, and the kid is new school thoughts, or vice versa, however you want to say it. But that's why we're here, and to have fun. And listen, Perez behind the glass. Hey, look at Perez. Perez, did you say exercise or extra fries? I think I used that one last week. But Mancini said, go ahead, continue, my friend.
So, that's why the kid is here, because, we are old school, and we only know what we know. And I don't watch the product. Vince, I'm so sorry. I can't watch the product. I am from the 80s. I will probably stay there. My mentor was Chief Jay Strongbow. He taught me most of the business, and up until the time he died, he was still old school. Again, which is why we have the kid here. And, even the guys in the wrestling school and the guys that have already turned pro, like Holiday, they kind of get a kick out of us guys now, but they won't disrespect us, which is good because we'll kill them. So,
Mancini, point well taken.
You know what I mean? But, the business has evolved, and, I had a conversation with the class last night. They didn't quite understand some things. I had shown when David Schultz smacked John Stossel, and I explained the theory of kayfabe and how kayfabe was still very much alive back then.
Absolutely.
And I even explained to them that which they could not believe and won't believe, but one day we'll have AJ Petrucci here, and he'll confirm my story, that when we were in wrestling school with Tony Altomar, he had us convinced that because we were friends, we were sparring. But when we turned pro, we really had to apply this stuff. So when I went to Poughkeepsie for the first time, I was told to go and talk to Greg Valentine. I said, what am I talking to him for? I'm wrestling him. I don't want to talk to him. Is this a title shot or not? Because he was the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. So I'm like, is this a title shot? And Strongbow just looked at Tony Altomar like, he's never seen anything like that. So Tony had to kind of put his arm around me and said, look, go talk to Valentine. And that's when I found out it was really kind of an entertainment thing. So, but
Mancini, it was a different era.
It was a different era because that entertainment was protected. It was viciously and brutally protected by, I'm working with you on an angle. We can't drive together. We can't room together. We can't eat together. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a perfect point, Mario, and I'm going to bring this up because you're very familiar because you were in the WWE, I think, at this time also. And we're talking about real life and with kayfabe. Look at the whole legendary incident with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Iron Sheik being caught on 95 and a limo together when they were accidentally pulled over.
And not only that, Big
Blew
Daddy.
Up the business.
Not only that, Big Daddy, I was present. I don't know if Perez was present there. I was present for the meeting that Vince held at TV, and it was ugly. It was ugly. He was screaming, that we screwed up. You know what I mean? Because he had a good thing going, and shortly after, the Duggan Sheik thing, then people really started nosing around. Then the sex scandal came out, which I had an extended conversation this past weekend with Rita Marie, who was the first female referee in pro wrestling history, who had a short stint with the WWE. And we talked to her. I was talking to her about her aches and pains, if you will, in the wrestling business and how it's evolved and how it's changed. But for women, which is why I like teaching the women, because I can educate them, that glass ceiling and that difficulty, quote unquote difficulty, they're still going to have in the wrestling business with promoters and such wanting to take advantage of them because they're eager to work.
Well, listen, back in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, we know it was like that. But the women's revolution, and with the way women's wrestling is now, and with the talents like Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Taya Valkyrie, Tessa Blanchard, Jordan Grace, Toni Storm, I mean, it's really much, much different now with the female grapplers and what is going on from the past. But you're 100% right. They were taking advantage. Don't get me started because I love her. I had dinner with Moolah and Mae Young, but let's not get started on the whole controversy involving the fabulous Moolah and what she allegedly did over the years in her training camps. Mancini,
well,
I know you're familiar with.
Well, I am familiar with it, and I've talked to a couple of girls from that camp back in the 80s who's confirmed that stuff. You got to remember something, Big Daddy. The most attractive female wrestler that really broke the mold was Wendy Richter.
Well, without a doubt. She was the first looker, so to speak.
Right, and other than that, you had the fabulous Moolah and Leilani Kai to look at, and
they originally, Mario, if I'm not mistaken, they were originally valets before they became professional wrestlers.
My point is, though, these female wrestlers today, God bless them. I'm not saying they're not talented.
Great athletes.
They're great. Not only are they great athletes, but they could be a Playboy centerfold.
No, there's a lot to be said for that. In this day and age, to have a grappler that's eye candy and can work, hey, listen, women's wrestling revolution, the Divas, the Knockouts and Impact, Lucha Underground. Listen, for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, you've had female superstars such as Ivelisse Velez, Diona Perazzo, Christina Marie, Tequila Rose, Candy Cartwright, Maria Manic, and some of them, like Diona and Ivelisse, have gone on to be major and are going to be major stars.
Yeah, but the point still stands. Because they're attractive and they're good athletes, they shouldn't have to suffer such harassment. They shouldn't be subject to what they have to be subject to. Just like nobody deserved to be subject to what they were subject to back in the day with certain promoters and vice presidents.
Well, Mancini, in this day and age, we live in a society where pizza gets to you faster than the police do, and that's just the way it is. These are valuable stories and valuable lessons, and this is what makes Mario Chaos and the Kid different than anything else because of the credibility of Mario Mancini, the jack of all trades of myself and the Kid, who's been kind of quiet here because I can listen to Mancini all day, fans. the Divas Revolution knockouts. We'll get on to that. These female athletes, Mancini makes a great point about being taken advantage of, but we even have some female students maybe coming down to the school. We won't let the cat out of the bag. We've seen a couple from Ohio Valley. We'll see what happens. But I would like to run down this past weekend. It was a big weekend. Not only Survivor Series, WWE, War Games, and NXT, Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. We talked about Team CC, and we're going to run down the results quickly here. It was a stacked card. GoPro Wrestling was there. You'll see it on YouTube. It was a phenomenal show. Kid, you were there to take a lot of notes. Mark Adam Haggerty, folks, if you don't know who Mark Adam Haggerty is or the kid here, go to bodyslam.net. It's an unbelievable website. They have unbelievable podcasts and vlogs that are over the top. Let's run it down, kid. Mancini's over here. He's got bigger fish to fry. We'll bring him in when we need him. He's the credibility. We opened up Body Slamming for Diabetes. I want to thank a couple of people first. Not only Team CC, like Mancini did a great job, and it's up to these fundraisers and nonprofits to really carry the event, and they did a great job. I also like to give a special shout-out, and I know the front office of Paradise feels the same way, to Nick Payne and Hakeem Ali in the House of Pain for being an integral part of Body Slamming for Diabetes. Matt DeCourt and Bad News Bob that were behind the broadcast table. Paul Perez always behind the glass, and the folks at GoPro. And I even think that that guy with the brain of a dehydrated BB, Hollywood J, was there from ETV. First match, kid. And you know no one gets a pop Mancini like this, man. The flamboyant one, Kenny Roberts, against newcomer to Paradise Alley, a large individual, Corey Dillinger. Roberts went over. I'm Rick James, bitch. Let's get jiggy with it. Break it down, kid.
I think they're very similar in look and style inside the ring, but obviously Kenny's more flamboyant.
Well, that's a nice breakdown,
at the end
kid.
of the day. But their look is very similar. It's just they're, when Corey,
Roberts obviously.
Corey didn't like the clapping of the fans going with Kenny Roberts.
The fans were clearly behind Kenny Roberts.
Listen,
I call him a la the chocolate Dusty Rhodes. I love Kenny Roberts like a brother, but let me tell you something. Dillinger is nobody to be trifled with. I'd like to see him back in Paradise Alley. The next matchup we had, and this is where the tag team division is exploding here in Paradise Alley. There's a lot of rumors. I believe Mancini has breaking news on a possible tag team. But the next one was the Filthy Family. Dirtbag Dan and Big Cal took on the Pyramids of Power, which is a rematch from Friday Night Alley Fights. And you know what, Mancini? You know what, kid? Dirtbag Dan. You know what he is?
The dirtologist.
He's a dirtbag. That's what he is. Pyramids of Power came out on that one. Break it down. I don't know if we were at the camel jockey races. I don't like the Pyramids of Power. I don't like them at all. But they've been successful tag team here in Paradise Alley. Break down that one quickly for me, kid.
A lot of talent between those two teams. But if I'm HOP and I see these guys before them in the card, I'm getting nervous if I'm them. There's a lot of talent that's coming for those titles. And I'm sure Mancini has something to say about more talent coming up for those titles.
I know he's been in negotiations and he's been approached by several different tag teams. Mancini, is there anything with the tag team division? We said Pyramids of Power. They've been feuding with the House of Pain for a couple of years. They went over on the Filthy Family. I hear there's rumors of a couple of tag teams on the horizon. One of them I know to be Big Jim Anderson and the 7-foot Meadowlands Monster in 2019. Is that official? And then what breaking news do you have in regards to a superstar potential tag team?
That is official. That Big Jim and the Meadowlands Monster will be here in 2019. The tag team division is definitely going to expand here at Paradise Alley, which I'm hoping the women's division does too. But the tag team division is going to get really hot here. Richard Holiday, Lights, Camera, Marketing, has taken on a tag team partner. So I think he's trying to sell that to Paul Roma right now. We all know that Paul Roma is in charge of the production end of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. So I think the tag team division is really going to expand here at Paradise Alley. I think that the House of Pain have their hands full. And Big Daddy, as you say, how long have they held the titles?
Well, it's a great point. They have held the titles for over a year now. Okay, and that's going to lead us into since we're on the tag team division here in Paradise Alley, and it's exploding with Filthy Family, Pyramids of Power, House of Pain for over a year. We're talking about possibly in 2019, Big Jim and the 7-foot Meadowlands Monster. Listen, Big Jim is enormous. I've seen him down here at the school. I know he comes down on Monday nights for training, and let me tell you something, he's back on the road to health. I've never seen him bigger and badder. He's a legit badass with him and the 7-footer. If I'm HOP, and the kid and I talked about this prior to the podcast, I think they can push around the HOP. Give me your opinion, and then, let's put Holiday and his potential of what's going to happen on the back burner for now. I see Holiday as a singles wrestler. We'll get on to that. Tell me about Meadowlands and Big Jim and potential for 2019, and then we're going to talk about House of Pain and who they faced this past Saturday night, who I think, and Perez also said this to me, that they deserve a rematch, and we'll get into that. So give me your thoughts, kid.
Big Jim and the Monster, they're not coming to play around, obviously. They're big game players. They're big game hunters as well. But Big Jim is looking good. I talked to him on Saturday. He said he got cleared about a month ago, but he does look good. And he sounds excited, too. He doesn't sound, whatever about it. He wants to come in here and he wants to do some damage.
Well, he has the testicular fortitude, as I like to say. And listen, I cannot wait for the arrival, and hopefully House of Pain still has the tag team titles, because we're going to get onto that match that you and I, and kid, I'll give you another feather in your cap. We got you in the commentary, into the broadcast booth. You and I did the last match at Body Slamming Diabetes. And break it down, kid. We want to talk about, like Mancini said last week, circa the 1980s, and I say that all the time, the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov collusion took it to the House of Pain. Break down that match, because that's who they need to worry about.
You're missing a keynote of why collusion was so successful. What kept them in the corner? Kept Nick Payne in the corner?
Well, obviously there's the third wheel, and that's Abdul Haq, who I don't like. I don't like Haq. I've never liked Haq. He's from Saudi Arabia. Abdul Haq is what I like to call him. But yes, they cut off the ring. That's what I never seen the House of Pain have someone take it to him like that, like collusion. And they deserve a rematch, and that's why the tag team division, House of Pain, retained the titles that night.
They were tested really hard, but they did come out. They showed a lot of resilience that night, but they were tested at the same time.
And I want to add, that's a point well taken. Mancini, I want to ask you this.
Yes.
Hakeem Ali, Saturday night, this is the best I've ever seen him look. Can you give some insight into what Ali's doing? Is he training with Roma? Is he doing something? Because Hakeem Ali looked unbelievable Saturday.
I believe he's under the tutelage of Roma for his diet, as several of us have been, and have been very successful with weight loss. So I believe he is working with Roma as far as a diet, and he did look tremendous, and he moved a lot better.
I could see the House of Pain, Mario, kid, holding on to this title for a while. I know that collusion pushed them around. I see on the horizon the teams we're talking about, but if they continue to stay in shape and train, they just got back from Devin Nicholson, a.k.a. the Hannibal from Great North Wrestling up in Canada. Unbelievable Hannibal TV. So they're getting around from the Bebop and Bronx. Their house, their rules, the tag team champions. And I want to talk about the craziest thing, Mancini, that happened at Body Slamming Diabetes. It was for the King of Paradise. All hail the King, Nutrius X.
Well, that was nuts.
Against, listen, Gino, the god of sexiness from the Sexy World Order, his former partner. He turned on X at Dieselmania 3. They had an issue at Friday Night Alley Fights. Kid, this was a hair versus crown match. These are very rare in professional wrestling. And all I know is Nutrius X didn't win the match.
No, he didn't.
But Gino the God got his head shaved. Give me your reaction on that, kid, because he looks like El Gallo de los Huevos on that one.
I know. I had a good view of when he was cutting his hair. He actually was bleeding from the front of his hairline right here.
Gino was busted open.
Yeah, he was busted open pretty bad. He had to be helped by the back by Ref Bill and El Ref.
Well, Slick Willie Thompson, easily my second favorite referee, considering that everyone else is tied for first. Listen, Thompson, you know I love you, brother. I love you, Slick Willie. But that was one heck of a match. Listen, this has gotten ugly. Nutrius X and Gino the God has gotten ugly. I don't know where it goes from here. Maybe Mancini, a Texas death match, a bull rope match, a chain match, a ladder match. Something has to end what has happened here between the King and Gino, who now has a dome piece a la the Guardian of Chaos, Mancini. Look at that. I could blind somebody right now with that piece right there.
Let me tell you something. That chrome dome's looking good, Big Daddy.
Thank you, man. Hey, listen, it's not what it used to be like on TV, Mancini, huh? Do you realize, Mancini, that at one time, kid, you're into social media, at one time, Perez, and I know you know this, we were on 169 channels, all 50 states, over 40 foreign countries. But guess what? It's turned into Mario Chaos and the Kid. And with this Thanksgiving, I want to let everyone know that not only am I thankful for my family and friends, the beautiful Peppa, my daughter, my granddaughter, my son-in-law, my family, I'm thankful for Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling and the three gentlemen that are sitting here right in front of me. In this Thanksgiving season, I don't want to get sentimental. You know, nostalgia isn't what it used to be. And I'll keep it at that, Mancini. Anyway, he's bald. We were talking about my tone piece. You know who impressed me, Mancini?
Who?
Newcomer to Paradise Alley. He took on the man with the best brows in the business, Ty Shine. I was impressed with his opponent. And, kid, I know that you know him, Kenny Bangle. He was impressive. He was pure class in a glass, smoother than the backside of a spoon. Go ahead, break it down, kid. Ty Shine, Kenny Bangle.
Ty Shine, he's coming back as well, but both of them aren't newcomers. Ty Shine's been here before, but they're both coming back from being out. So,
Kid, are you questioning my veracity?
No.
I know Ty Shine's not a newcomer. I was talking about Kenny Bangle.
You know why Ty Shine was out? He tore his ass.
Well, PMS jokes aren't funny or appropriate. Period. I'm just saying. Listen, why is abbreviation such a long word?
That's a good question, Big Daddy.
Where do you get seeds to plant seedless watermelons? These are the things that I ask. I like to ask these things. Kid, do you have any answers for me?
Big Daddy, does this stuff keep you up at night?
Well, Mancini, I've repeated the same mistakes for so long now, I start calling them traditions, seeing that we're speaking of Thanksgiving. But let's tie this up in a little bow here. Let's continue with body slamming diabetes. I know fans, Friday Night Alley Fights is coming up soon. Friday nights here at the facility from the Diadamo and Tracy Bailbond studio here at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Training Facility. Mario Chaos and the Kid, producer behind the glass, Paul Perez. Fans, Zachariah Gibbs defending the Intercontinental Championship against Aaron Bradley. Listen, I'm going to say this about Gibbs. I know it's a bone of contention. It comes up in every show, on every social platform, on every media platform. He's Roma trained. He's Amish bred. He defended the Intercontinental Championship against Aaron Bradley. And I know that's a sore spot with Mancini because he pinned Mancini at the Mohegan Sun Casino.
He got lucky.
He pinned you at the casino.
He got lucky.
All or nothing.
He got lucky.
He's a snap-nosed kid, and he still pinned you, Mancini.
You
got lucky.
You got lucky.
Boy, Mancini, I'll tell you, that could have been possibly the worst loss of your career. The only thing that makes it okay is that he's trained by Roma. But he did. I know you're a Zachariah Gibbs fan. He's come a long way. Mm-hmm. He's a Roma prodigy. He's held on to the belt now he's had a couple title defenses. He's on like an 8 since All or Nothing back in April at the Mohegan Sun Casino. I bet you that kid is on like an 8-match winning streak. Mm-hmm. Tell me your thoughts on the young prodigy, since he's kind of like you, except he's in the ring.
Prodigy. Mm-hmm. Prodigy.
He's a prodigy, Mancini.
The prodigy.
Listen, the kid's winning. He's the IC champ.
Prodigy.
What do you want me to say?
Prodigy.
I mean,
Wow.
he's 2 years younger than me. I'm 18. He's 16. So you might as well. I'm the kid. You might call him the baby. But I work with him a lot. I talk to him every week because I help him with social media and helping him, get out there. I actually made his Twitter with him. He wasn't a big Twitter fan, but I helped him get his Twitter. You should go follow him, Amish Gibbs, on Twitter.
Oh, so now you're giving free plugs here on Mario Cast and the kid. Hey, listen, speaking of age, I'm so old, I remember when water was free and you had to pay for porn. At my age, if I hear that someone goes both ways, I figure it's number one and number two. I'm just saying. Humpty Dumpty was pushed, Mancini. I'm just saying. Let's get back to body slamming diabetes. You know what? As I watch the kid here and his social media expertise, I think this generation's going to have to go into separate rooms and text each other just to work out their problems. You can't make it up here, kid. Yeah, smile. Look at that smile. It's worth $1 million. Let's get on to a match that would be seen anywhere from New Japan, Ring of Honor, MLW, and now in Paradise Alley. Sa'ivi Al-Sabah against the most marketable man in wrestling from the consumers department. The consumers are buzzing. I don't even know if I said that right. If Holiday was here, I'd have heat. Richard Holiday. That was a match that could be a main event in any arena in the country. Kid, and then I want Mancini. And then, listen, even though you can't hear Perez because he's behind the glass, Perez, I can't hear you, right? I wonder if Perez can hear me, Mancini. Let's test it out. Perez, fuck you. Wait, I can't say that on here. Wait, Mancini, do we have any rules by the FCC when I say something like that?
There are no rules.
I don't care about the FCC. Mancini's here, Perez, the kid's here. Paradise Alley, Big Steve, I don't care. We'll kick their ass. I digress, and I know right now that all the people out there in the 18 to 30 demographic are like, what's this guy screaming about? What is he doing, this old bastard? Why is he screaming? Why is he yelling? I know right now that Peppa just turned off the broadcast. Richard Holiday, Sa'ivi Al-Sabah. Break it down, kid. What a talent.
If I had to pick match of the night, that'd be the one. I don't like this talk of Holiday going to find a tag team partner.
Well, Mancini did say that was breaking news. He didn't confirm it. I agree with you, kid. Holiday is a classic singles wrestler. Listen, he was just at the promotion this past weekend. Phenomenal. Holiday is in MLW. He's making a huge come out in 2019. He's with XWA. He's all over. He's the stud of Paradise Alley. There's a lot to be said for Sa'ivi Al-Sabah. That was a 5-star matchup. Holiday came out in the end. His agility is second to none. Holiday is a blue chipper. That's why he's with MLW. Mancini, break it down. Holiday and Al-Sabah.
I mean, Holiday, he did just sign a contract at MLW. He's on his way up. And he's doing it at light speed. Even Holiday comes in here on Monday nights and tries new things.
That's impressive.
He is constantly expanding his repertoire, if you will. So he eats, drinks, lives this business, Holiday, and that's why he's going to make it.
Mancini, Holiday is Roma-trained, Mancini-brained. That's what I like to call it. Roma-trained, Mancini-brained. But, folks, it was a successful event. Type 1 to none, Team CC, body slamming diabetes. Fans, that's our wrap-up for Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling this week. Stay tuned for Friday Night Alley Fights. We're going to move on to some other news and information. We had Survivor Series this past weekend. You can get the information on bodyslam.net, but you can also get it here at the Diadamo and Tracy Bail Bond Studios at the Paradise Alley Training Facility. Mancini, this is the part where I'll give you a little Geritol. Maybe you can crush up that Ambien and give it a little sniff and go to sleep, because we're about to get into Survivor Series, Monday Night Raw, the major leagues, which is where you were born and bred, where you were a sperm in the sack of Vince McMahon before your career was born, 6 months before WrestleMania 1, as the youngest grappler in WWF history. And then 6 years, 8 years later, you were the spooge that dripped down his leg and landed on the sheets.
I appreciate that.
I'm just saying, Mancini, you're preaching to the choir
I
here.
appreciate that, Big Daddy.
Hey, Mancini, you did something that I never did, kid. Wait, I forgot her name. Anyway, we're going to get on to, and this is where I know the kid gets happy. Although he is a Paradise fan and now an employee for Mario Mancini, although you're an employee for the Guardian of Chaos and Paul Perez too. So you are the prospect, and we'll get you the rocker once you complete your duties here for Paradise Alley. Fans, I know you've been waiting for this. We're going to get on to Survivor Series this past Sunday. It was an unbelievable show. We'll break it down. We'll run through it quick. I have viewer mail that I want to get to if we have time. We're running short. It's the holiday season. Mancini is a master baker, and he has all kinds of cakes and pies and things to make. Mancini, what is on the menu at Scarpolino's, and what is on the menu for Mario Mancini, a.k.a. the Master Baker? I didn't say Master Baiter. I said Master Baker.
Well, right now at Scarpolino's on Forbes Ave in New Haven, you can find Big Steve's Cheesecakes.
Big Steve's Cheesecakes?
Yeah, I named my cheesecakes after Big Steve. Big Steve's Cheesecakes
That's a
right
big
now.
cheesecake.
There's a chocolate banana for sale by the slice, and my world-famous carrot cake is there.
Carrot cake. Did you say carrot cake a la Bugs Bunny?
Big Daddy, I saw your face got very serious when I said carrot cake.
I love carrot cake. Do you remember, speaking of carrots and carrot cake, do you remember the episode with Bugs Bunny? Dog pile on the rabbit, dog pile on the rabbit. And then Bugs Bunny's jumping on all the dogs. Well, I digress. Mancini, I love carrot cake. Speaking of that, I want to ask you a question, seeing that you are a master baker, and we're talking about carrot cake and Scarpolino's and the Big Steve Tracy cheesecake. Peppa went off on me before I came down to the podcast.
Why is that, Big Daddy?
I want to ask you a question. It is Thanksgiving.
It is Thanksgiving.
What kind of pie or cake is traditional or appropriate for this holiday? What would most normal people, I guess, in her words, would get?
Well, I think the most red-blooded Americans on a Thanksgiving would have a pumpkin pie.
Oh, see, Mancini, you're a smart guy. A pumpkin pie. See, because that's what Pep said. And I want to break this scenario down. I came home this afternoon before the podcast, and I came in with a couple of pies. It is Thanksgiving.
It is.
Now, I'm assuming, as you just said, traditionally a pumpkin pie.
A pumpkin pie.
So Peppa comes out with a can of whipped cream. You know me, I'm thinking different things. I'm thinking you're going to lather it all. I'm thinking I'm in for a night of fun. You know what I'm saying?
Big Daddy, that's another kind of pie.
The Rock, for all the fans out there, The Rock loves pie. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, that was his thing. He loves pie. So I was thinking along that same line when she had the whipped cream and pumpkin pie, traditional. But once I opened up the pie, there went the boner, there went the whipped cream, and there went everything else, because you know what kind of pie I had? This is where the problem started.
What kind of pie did you have?
I had lemon meringue and key lime. And Peppa said, who the hell brings home a lemon meringue and key lime pie on Thanksgiving?
Well, I would think Big Daddy.
Right, with the whipped cream, and it was spraying everywhere. It was like a squirrel trying to find a nut.
Well, Big Daddy, I would think that if there was going to be a second pie to a traditional pumpkin pie, that would be an apple pie.
So, Mancini, did I mess up the whole scenario right there?
Big Daddy,
was thinking,
I'm going to give you half credit. If you were spending Thanksgiving in Miami, I think it would have been appropriate.
That's what she said. 70-year-old women in Miami eat those kind of pies. Hey, listen, The Rock made pie famous, but I
Although
had to
good
get
pie.
that out there.
It was good. It's good pie still, though.
But it's not traditional.
It's
Pep,
not.
I hope you're listening to that.
It's
If you didn't
not-
shut off the
it's not-
broadcast by
it's-
now.
It's not traditional.
All right, listen, the kid is falling asleep. All right, Mancini, here's your part, and if we need you, we'll wake you up. Perez will come from behind the glass and push you. Survivor Series, kid. Let's go. Break it down. We're going to be quick. We're going to run through this. There was a lot that happened. Let's start off with the big main event for the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship. The Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. Break it down, kid, because I know you were glued to the TV. This is your expertise.
I was really scared for Daniel Bryan in this one, getting a concussion. Obviously, he was out for 4 years with nerve injuries in his neck and messed up his arms. But, yeah, I was really nervous for Daniel Bryan to get injured. And you saw those stiff German suplexes Lesnar was giving him?
I'm glad that you brought that up because, like Mancini, well, less so actually. I don't really watch the product, but now I have to watch. It's becoming part of my job. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I want to give some shout-outs to people that help me out with my information, and that's JD from New York, off the script. I believe Daniel Bryan took 13 German suplexes from Lesnar that night, and it was an amazing match. Listen, the fans were not happy. It was a shit match, Matt, to start with. The fans weren't happy. How were they going to drag this out for a half an hour? You heard the chants in the crowd. But Daniel Bryan came back and saved that match, in my opinion, and it ended up becoming one hell of a match. With his injuries in his career, Daniel Bryan, and tell me your thoughts on Lesnar. Like we said on the first episode, he's going to hold on to this belt until he fights Cormier in the UFC.
I heard UFC might be going away with that match. I mean, I heard that they don't want to mess with Brock Lesnar and the date times, having to wait for him to fight until March. So I heard they want to do Cormier versus John Jones very soon instead of Lesnar and Cormier. That's besides the fact.
Well, listen, Cormier and Jones would be a great for a trilogy, but Jones got to get his stuff together.
Yeah, he's got to get his shit together.
On to other things of why we're here. Now, that was an unbelievable match, I got to say. It started off lousy. The fans knew it. They're not stupid. But it ended up to be a tremendous match. I don't know where we go from here. I want to get on to the next big match because we're gonna go through this quick because we've had some technical difficulties tonight. We're having a lot of fun down here. It's pre-Thanksgiving. Fans, Mario Chaos and the Kid doesn't get better than that. Let's talk about royalty. Charlotte Flair taking on Ronda Rousey. And listen, Charlotte flipped out. This was a 5-star match. Survivor Series, to me, if you want to go on a scale from 0 to 10, to me was a 7 out of 10. There were some unbelievable matches. There was some garbage and booking that was terrible by the Road Dogg.
The booking is what really killed the night, I think. I thought it was going to be a better night. I honestly thought it was going to be a draw between like Raw and SmackDown winning the matches. That was my prediction. But when Raw won out, and the Fox executives were backstage this whole weekend to watch everything. I don't know what they were trying to get across to the people from Fox by having SmackDown lose not every single match. They won the kickoff show match. But for the main card, they had Raw win every match, which doesn't show that much to the Fox executives who paid millions for the show to be broadcast.
Exactly. Survivor Series. Now I get why Mancini, Mario, I get why you don't watch the product. Because I got to tell you, I fought myself to stay awake. These athletes, listen, anybody that steps in the ring, they're great. I appreciate what they do. They're unbelievable athletes, but I got to tell you, it's not like back in the day. Charlotte they're going to turn her heel. She flipped out. She's an unbelievable athlete. And this match ended in a disqualification. I'm very surprised about that. Rousey's unbelievable if she continues to work at her game, but they're going to turn Charlotte heel, and they're going to come up with that whole 4 horsewomen heel versus non-heel, and it's all coming with Shayna Baszler and all the rest of these girls.
Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir.
Right, Jessamine Duke, all of them. And that's where it's going with them. But I like the turn on Charlotte. Let's get on to what I thought was an unbelievable match. You tell me the IC versus U.S. champion Nakamura versus Seth freaking Rollins.
I think this was match of the night. Seth Rollins is my favorite on the main card, But my favorite overall in WWE is Aleister Black. Hopefully we see him soon.
Extreme talent.
I'm told that Royal Rumble weekend he'll be facing Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title in the main event at that takeover in Phoenix, Arizona. But Seth Rollins, Nakamura, I've been waiting for this match since they both came up in WWE.
Tremendous. Again, that's what made Survivor Series worth it, was this match. I mean, these two workers are second to none. Listen, we have to for this episode. We got to get through. Look at Mancini. Mancini. I'm going to say this, and I want you to pay attention to Matt, the kid, if you will, for future life endeavors. And Mancini knows this better than anyone. Never get on one knee for a girl who won't get on two knees for you. That's all I'm going to say, Mancini. I know that will keep you awake as we go through and suffer through the Listen, you're looking at the clock, the WWE News. Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali for the Cruiserweight
I don't even
title.
know who these people are.
Mancini, if you saw them, though, with your knowledge, Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Cruiserweights, unbelievable. Quick synopsis, kid, on what I thought. Again, the matches that I thought that stood out were these, besides the traditional 5-on-5, 10-on-10 elimination matches.
Those elimination matches are...
They're worthless. It's garbage booking. And this is Road Dogg's booking. This isn't Triple H. This isn't Vince. This is the Road Dogg booking this. And Kevin Dunn, like JD said from New York, Kevin, what do you want to suck my cock or something, Kevin Dunn? I'm just saying this is what we've come to in the WWE. I'm just saying, man.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. That's right. Listen, I'm going to ask you this question, kid. Speaking of that, if you went camping and you woke up and there was a bunch of Vaseline all over your body, or maybe in one of your cavities, not the ones in your mouth, and you woke up and you're all disoriented, and the boys are all going, no one's there. Would you tell anybody? No one knows about it but you. Would you? I mean, I don't know. Would you tell anybody on a camping trip with the boys? They're all gone. You wake up. I have to question that. Would you tell anybody?
I don't know what I'd tell them because I didn't know what happened anyway. So what would I tell them?
Well, you want to go camping? That reminds me of that old scene. Oh wait, I can't do it, man. See, I need another Halls. But anyway, listen, we gotta roll. Listen, I want to talk about this. Buddy Murphy and Ali, we're not even going to let you get into that.
Not a lot of people get exposure to 205 Live. That's all I'll say, because people will sleep. But that's why they always get put on the kickoff show, the Cruiserweights. 205
Live in this day and age, it's unbelievable, the Cruiserweights. We have a lot of them here in Paradise Alley, so I get it. Mancini's, I think at this point, has 2 innies, because I don't think Big Steve has paid the bills this month, and I think he has 2 innies as we speak, like that Seinfeld episode. Jerry, tell her, I was in the ocean, the shrinkage. Mancini, it was shrinkage. I was in the ocean.
In the shower.
The ocean. I was in the ocean. It was shrinkage. Jerry. Anyway, you know who impresses me, Mancini? If you ever saw these guys, I don't know if Perez has, the tag team AOP. Old school wrestling, 2 huge, massive men.
I have no idea who they are.
They went against the Bar, which is Sheamus and Cesaro, 2 unbelievable athletes. Let's break this down. AOP and the Bar, 2 unbelievable tag teams. Raw champions, SmackDown champions. I love the AOP, kid.
This match got overshadowed a lot by Enzo coming out of the crowd during that match.
Did you see the video clip of Enzo Amore getting tossed out?
You saw that? Yeah.
Perez even seen that. Unbelievable. Listen, I have nothing against the guy. He was a talented guy. He's got a lot of heat. I get it. But with that being said, he's just looking for he's just looking for glory on that. It's a distraction.
That's why
very unprofessional, in my opinion.
That's
Perez.
why a bunch of people were texting me. They're like, "Oh, why haven't you tweeted about it? Why haven't you said anything?" This guy wants publicity, and I'm not going to give him.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that. It's unprofessional. I would never do anything like that. And getting back to the AOP and the Bar, AOP is to me is the future of tag team wrestling. Although I will say I do miss the Usos.
The Usos, yeah.
I miss the Usos. I have a lot of connection to the Samoan dynasty, Rikishi, Yokozuna, Big Sam, Little Sam, Tonga.
Rikishi was there Sunday. He was backstage.
All great people. I owe a lot to my career humbly to the Samoan dynasty. Unbelievable people, unbelievable
You know who else
family.
gets the back burner in WWE? The Revival. You watch Raw last night?
Yeah, yes, I did catch glimpses because, kid, you're making me watch Raw now. I have to watch these to keep up with you.
Yeah, they got pinned by the Lucha House Party last night, the Revival. That's why I'm not too happy.
Let me ask you another quick question as we get on to the next thing. Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon, this guy takes one bump, one monster bump, one huge bump, stuntman bump after another. He was in the match with Strowman and Corbin and McIntyre, who's unbelievable, Rey Mysterio, The Miz, Samoa Joe. I mean, tell me what you think of Shane McMahon. I mean, Mario and I were doing another show at one time when Shane, this past summer, was in that helicopter accident or plane accident. I think it was a helicopter.
The helicopter.
Where they crashed into the Long Island Sound and out of the water like an Adonis. Is Shane McMahon. He's got 9 lives. And the pilot's name was Mario. It was Mario. So tell me what you think about Shane McMahon, another unbelievable bump through the table.
He's crazy. He's probably taking years off his life. You don't know this, but he just wrestled a half hour ago on SmackDown.
Wow. How would I know that, kid?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm here at the Paradise Alley Studios doing the Mario Chaos and Kid podcast. How would I know that?
Yeah, him and The Miz actually tag teamed half hour ago.
Unbelievable.
They lost to 2 jobbers.
Wait, Mancini. The kid just said 2 jobbers. The kid just used the word 2 jobbers. Listen, Perez, how deep are we in right now? 56 minutes. Okay, this is how we're ending it. The kid just said something about 2 jobbers. I want you to give your speech here on the definition, the word, what it means to you, jobber, and then we're ending the second episode of Mario Chaos and the Kid.
Well, a jobber to me is, a talented professional wrestler, sometimes more talented than the guy he's putting over, that goes out there and makes this superstar look good. Now, I am opposed and offended of the term enhancement talent.
I think I have some out in the car if you need one.
No, not that kind of
wait. I didn't know what
Daddy.
you were talking about. Go ahead, Mancini. Finish the story.
Big Daddy, enhancement talent is like a Seinfeld episode. They're at the diner. They're all at the booth. And you see a blurry guy in the back wiping down the counter to enhance the scene. Or they're shooting a scene in a movie and they decide to put a candlestick on the coffee table to enhance the scene. Do not call me enhancement talent. I'm not a fluffer.
Oh, Mancini, let's not get back to that story when I was 18. That was on a shoot episode that I don't know if I'll ever make the air. Maybe as a flashback episode as a fluffer.
And Big Daddy, how many years did you spend in San Francisco doing this?
Mancini, listen, it was only once. He was drunk. He was wearing a dress. There was duct tape involved. I tripped and fell, and it fell into his mouth. It slipped. It was only one time. Hey, listen, there's a thin line between genius and insanity, and I think we've erased it here on the Mario Chaos and Kid podcast.
I agree, Big Daddy.
What do you got to say, kid? Bring us out.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about with this fluff.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening. If you did listen, I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it down here at the Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Training Facility, where the best in professional wrestling exists. Everybody have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Eat your ass off.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're coming home, baby.